welcome to Uninfluenced. Today I didn't get a bunch done for topics, but we have a shitload of Q&As. Some are pretty good, so
yeah,
we'll go with them. But let's get into normal shit. Do we even want to talk about the fucking news with the shootings and shit right now?
No,
I don't.
Yeah,
it's so pick and choose. It's pointless.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's a bunch of BS propaganda type shit, if you ask me. Cars. We were talking about it. I got this in the mail.
Look at this thing.
We're going to talk about some cars. So for you people that just see us on or hear us on Pandora,
Porsche's got that marketing budget.
dude. Ever since I bought my Porsches, I'll get pins in the fucking mail.
So would that be Porsche's?
It's Porsche.
Porsche.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, if there's more than three, it's a gaggle. Yeah. So we were talking about your upcoming cars. What'd you get?
So I ordered. It was the first time I've ever actually spec'd a car, like from scratch, not just like, oh, here's the 5 that are available. I like that one. That's the closest I've come. And like, oh, this is the color that I want, or whatever. But it's got a bunch of other shit that I don't. The Cayenne Turbo. It's a 2021 Cayenne Turbo for my daily, I guess. Excuse me, because I drive the shit out of the truck, but there's a lot of times where it's just kind of a pain in the ass size wise, especially like the high school drop off line and going and getting groceries and fucking drive-throughs and shit like that. It's just it's a big fucking wide body fucking Raptor truck with a camper shell on it, and it's just not that convenient to drive around running errands and shit all day. Great for delivering dogs, great for road trips, things like that. So I mean, I'll still definitely use it for that and regularly, but just the day-to-day getting in and trying to go somewhere quick, I wanted something that was a little easier to fucking maneuver. I also ordered an RSQ8 too, though. So
Yeah.
So
you got like the best of everything coming.
But what I was trying to figure out was whether or not to get something for an alternate to the Pista, which there really isn't. And
Nope.
We've talked about like getting something super fast again or whatever, but I just don't really want to go down that road. I mean, I know I said I'd probably never buy a GTR. I've considered getting one and having T1, get it up to the 1500, but it's a much cheaper way to go super fast that way. It's probably the cheapest reliable way to achieve that kind of performance and speed would be a GTR or something, but I'm just not really crazy about the platform. I don't know. A 992 similarly, like it'd be fun to drive around town, but I would probably be disappointed with the highway speed of it a little bit. I mean, it's not that it's slow, but it's not on the level of the Pista and really not even close, frankly,
Yeah.
I mean, but and it's just too similar. It's a twin turbo, powerful, nice handling car. So it's like, when would you drive it and why would you drive it? So to me, like if I was going to get something else fun car wise, a manual little track car that's, quite a bit cheaper, that's just fun to hammer the shit out of and provides like a pretty heavy contrast to the Pista, I think would be the way to go. But even then, I still don't know when the fuck I'd drive it.
Yeah.
Not having the Pista in the garage, I mean, it's like every time I think, okay, I've got an hour that I want to dedicate to driving, I'm going to take the fucking Pista every fucking time, So it's like, why even bother having anything that's even in that same realm of a car that's not for utility purposes? And while the Cayenne is, yes, a luxury, very fast SUV, same with the RSQ8, they're still very utility driven, and that you can do a lot with them. You can carry five adults and luggage in both of them,
Yeah.
and still do a fucking 740 in the Nürburgring with it. But so that was kind of my thought process of everything coming up, was instead of even getting something else, just stick with what I have because I enjoy it so fucking much. The one question I would have for you though is on a GT4 or a GT3, would you go manual or PDK?
It's tough because if you go with speed, the PDK is always faster. if you want rawness, you got to go manual.
Mm-hmm.
Because how long are manuals going to be around? I don't think we have much longer.
In fact, gas engines.
Well, SRT, they just came out and they said basically what Audi said. The engines that are built are the engines that are built, and we're done.
Really?
So the
Fucking
SRT
Dodge.
program, which is all the Hellcat stuff, all the 392 stuff, they're saying 2023, 2024, they're gone. So same thing. When you get into electric, what the fuck you gonna shift in an electric car?
Yeah.
You know, nothing. So you'd almost, for nostalgic reasons, if you could get the new GT3 or GT4 in the manual, you'd almost have to go that way.
Yeah.
And you'd almost have to be careful who the fuck you let drive it, because you can imagine in 5 years what that clutch is going to cost.
Yeah. If you can even replace it.
Yeah,
Jesus.
if it's even replaceable. It may get to one of those deals to where, we're not going to make them no more, so you have to go our way.
Yeah.
But when you always compare that, I was thinking as you were talking about this, and this is totally off the cuff, when I think of the bikes in the car deal, the other day we went on a ride, and you messaged, and I didn't fuck with my Indian in a while, and I go to start it, and that bitch is dead.
Really?
I'm like, fuck. So I plug it up to the charger. Mike comes over, and he's like, will the BMW start? I don't know. It hadn't died yet. And I shit you not, that motherfucker cranked right the fuck up.
Really?
It's been a couple of months.
Yeah. But going from the fastest bike you could pretty much jump on with the moderate tuning and shit, because you can go crazy with them, like a car. You could get something to blow motherfuckers out of the water, the BMW. You can get something that's fun and comfortable, say the Pista, the Indian. I'll take that motherfucking Indian all day after that motherfucking ride we had.
Yeah.
Every time I'm on the Indian, I'm like, man, I wish it was just a little bit faster. And then about 10 miles in on that motherfucking BMW, and the fucking 2 days later, my fucking lower back's hurting, fucking wrists are hurting and shit. It don't help that every time we'd slow down a little bit, I'd try to fucking pop a wheelie and shit. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and then my big ass coming down on the handlebars. But,
I would say you can still throw wheelies, right?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun bike. It's just like everything else. They're fun, but when's the fun wear off?
Yeah.
But I think you're right. If you get something that's a total contrast to the car,
Yeah.
the GT4, GT3, which is a total contrast, be fucking fun to drive around town.
Yeah.
And that's what Alan said about his 992 around town.
Yeah.
992 all day. Highways and fucking wanting to do turns and shit.
Yeah.
The fucking Pista.
Yeah.
But a GT3, that's a turning car too.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you wonder, is that a good enough contrast?
Yeah. I mean, to me, the fact that it's a manual, it would be,
Yeah.
just because it's such a different driving experience that way. Because, to me, the GT3 and the GT4, I think probably handle pretty similarly.
Yeah.
It's 100 horsepower difference.
Yeah. You're basically just going off of horsepower then.
Yeah. The GT3 is going to satisfy speed a little more than the GT4 is probably. But
Yeah.
but I think just like with, say, the Indian Scout Bobber as a reference, is that, that thing compared to the BMW and even compared to the Challenger, it's slower than the Challenger,
Yeah.
But the way that it is, like, you never really feel like, fuck, I wish this thing would go faster. Like, just because of the type of bike that it is, it's still fast enough.
Yeah.
But the experience of riding it is such that it's just really, really fun to ride, and I think a GT4 would be the same way, even though, like, it's not that fast of a car, really. I mean,
Yeah.
like an M5 does the Nürburgring faster, because it's so much faster in a straight line. It'll outhandle an M5 all day long, but that horsepower difference, I think, to compare a GT3 and a GT4, for driving it like on a track or around town, like, are you really going to notice it that much? Probably not.
Yeah. Probably not.
Probably not that much. I mean, if you're out on the interstate trying to roll race people, yeah, you'd notice it a lot then.
Yeah.
But from 0 to 70 miles an hour, they're both going to feel pretty comparable. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard that about the Carrera 4S versus the 992. Like, engine to engine, there's a big goddamn difference between those two. But up to 100 miles an hour, I mean, I've talked to a ton of people that have driven both or even have both, and said that the Carrera 4S feels every bit as fast as the 992 up to 100 miles an hour. You know,
Yeah.
it's $100,000 less. You know, but
Yeah, the Carrera 4S was the 992 I did a review on a long time ago. It was one of my first videos on the channel. It was a fun fucking car.
Yeah.
And it felt faster than it was.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you can always say about Porsche. They technically are faster than they always publish anyways.
Yeah.
But they just feel so fucking strong, even when they're not.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, fuck.
Yeah, they've nailed the driving experience down to a T.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I was also considering too was like you know, you can get the 6-speed manual M4 also, the new ones.
Yeah.
You know, which I've seen a couple of reviews on them that said that the steering is probably the biggest improved aspect of that car. Is that the steering was really impressive. Which, you know, you can get one of those for $70,000.
Yeah.
Know?
Yeah, the competition I think was like $74,000 or some shit.
Yeah, you know, a brand new 2021 manual M4, fucking tricked out or specced out, you know, fairly well for less than $80,000. You know, now even the GT4, like the cheapest one I found is about 110.
Mm-hmm.
The GT3 is going to cost you 200.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, for a car to just kind of fuck around in and wanting to scratch the manual itch and get that.
Yeah, I'd almost take the GT3 out of my deal. Not for the money factor, it's almost a waste factor.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of a waste of money, but a waste of a car to just sit around.
Yeah.
But the beauty of GT3, GT4, you're pretty much going to be solid in that car a year from now if you get bored. 6 months from now, if you're like, fuck this, it's just sitting here.
Yeah.
You can sell it. The BMW.
You're going to lose your ass on
Oh, yeah.
BMW.
Yeah, the BMW, when you're like 6 months from now, you're like, man, I took to trade this bitch in. They offer me 34. Man, I'll give you 36 right now, man.
Yeah.
I will hook you up.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll lose your ass on that. I mean, and just in looking at GT4s, like I've seen, you know, the last rendition, which was 2016, you know, probably a dozen 2016 GT4s that have anywhere from a few thousand to well over 10,000 miles that are still $90,000.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like they've lost almost no value in 5 years with, you know, a few thousand miles on them. So, you know, to me, like in working through all of that, bang for your buck and resale and still fun and whatever, the GT4 is probably the best kind of happy medium of all of that, I think. But
well, we both watch a ton of car reviews and shit. I mean, I play it in the background. I know you watch a ton because we'll send them back and forth.
Zach doesn't watch shit.
No.
No, but I know you guys watch them because I can see your YouTube histories.
Horrible.
What the?
Yeah.
Are you digging through our shit?
Not at all. No.
Oh, then you need to go look at some of that shit I've been looking at lately. CarWow said the GT4 was the best all-around car he has driven.
Yeah.
And that's saying a ton.
Yeah, that motherfucker drives everything.
He's the reviewer. He's like Doug DeMuro. He has touched every fucking thing.
Wow.
I think he's more of the common man in terms of his reviews, though.
Yeah.
You know, I respect and appreciate Doug's intricacies and how dorked out he gets on everything, and still for sure trust his opinion on how a car drives and whatever. But you know, what he values, I think, is a little more than, or a little different than what I would. Whereas I think Matt Watson with CarWow is a little closer to probably what I would want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you watched that. Doug's got a 10 cars that I want to review, like my top 10 cars that I want to review that I haven't. Have you watched that? Dude, like 8 of them, I'm like, what the fuck is that? They look like minivans.
Yeah.
Like 1986 Chrysler fucking mini, like the very first minivan. Like, are you fucking retarded? Like, what? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You know, like I just.
Well, I was watching Doug on the TRX video, and I lost a little bit of respect for that dude.
What happened?
He was talking about how he don't appreciate the emissions that it has, and he thinks that high horsepower emission cars are a waste, blah, blah, blah. Well, then a couple minutes later, he's like, this is the funnest fucking vehicle I've driven. But in the grand scheme of things, it lets you know, okay, he's an EV fan.
Yeah.
I mean, and granted, I respect the shit out of the EV market. I respect what they're doing. I get it. I get there's a place for it. I think it's fucking dumb that everybody's trying to go EV.
Yeah.
To go full EV, I agree.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb.
To me, like I could see where you have like you split your company in half basically.
Mm-hmm.
You have your EV division and your fucking gasoline division. But keep them separate and use technology from each where it makes sense. But for these companies that are going all in on EV, like I think it's a business mistake, honestly, and I think most of it, just like major chains that still require that you wear masks in places that aren't mandated by the state.
Yeah,
I think that's the same thing. I think a lot of these EV companies are doing it because of the political pressure of the whole climate change movement thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really do, and I think that's a huge mistake, and it's one that very well may bite them in the ass and put them out of business if either something comes along where you don't need to use electric and you can use a fluid or a liquid to power gasoline engines the same like we talked about, or if just something happens with the electric market where it becomes far more scarce or expensive, because it's not going to take long before people realize that when you start transferring our entire society over to electric in terms of machines that were typically on gas, that the price of electricity is going to go up. The way that it's manufactured and produced and created is going to become more difficult, more expensive, and most importantly, more pollution driven.
yeah,
Is that there's really only one clean way to make electricity on a large scale like that, and that's nuke, and that's it. I mean, that's all that exists. Wind, solar, aquatic. I mean, all of that stuff are good supplements, but you're talking single percentile, maybe into the low double digits in terms of the percentage of power that can be generated on a large scale by these auxiliary mechanisms. So, if something like that gets to a point where now it's like, yeah, your power bill is quadruple what it was because you're plugging your cars in, and now electricity is way more expensive. Like, you're still kind of in the same fucking boat. But what that ultimately translates to is that people are not going to buy as many cars. They're not going to buy them as often, or they won't buy them at all, and
Yep.
so I do really think that that's a huge mistake to go all in on electric power for these companies the way they're doing it.
Let me give you a for instance. For one, I think you should just fucking stop talking EV because you're making too much fucking sense. And it's going to fuck people up.
It will.
It's going to get us kicked the fuck off
Probably
YouTube.
shut the fuck down.
Yeah. They can talk about guns. They can talk about everything.
That's
But
right.
this EV shit's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Talk about titties and pussy, but don't bring up nuclear power.
ERCOT put out a fucking deal this coming Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah.
Please move your thermostats up to 75 as our power grids are going to be experiencing too much fucking.
Yeah.
So hold on. You want us all to plug our fucking cars in and turn our fucking ACs off? Fuck you.
I was just thinking that for anybody out there that that thinks electric vehicles are totally reasonable, move to Texas.
Yeah.
Because like we had a snowstorm and it knocked our state off for a week. It's like, it's not that easy. It seems broad, but it just isn't.
I mean, think about it. If you do that 10 years from now, everything's EV. Just for instance, everything's EV 10 years from now, the grid's still not caught up. And instead of us being back on our feet in 3 to 4 days, it's weeks.
Yeah.
Why? Because everybody forgot to go unplug their fucking cars.
Right. Yeah.
You imagine getting a fucking text, hey, could you please go unplug your car? You're really fucking up the grid.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Well, they'll just shut your shit off.
Yeah. It's fucking, or guess what we all got to do? Go get a natural gas generator
Yeah.
to motherfucking run our shit.
Yeah, more fossil fuels. I mean, that's the thing is that, people are only so gung-ho to do that, in terms of inconvenience. When it comes to that, where it's freezing, I mean, look at us, like running around, opening ovens, turning the fucking stove on.
Yeah.
Like, you don't give a fuck. Like, when you're really cold or really hot or really hungry or really thirsty or desperate, for whatever fucking reason, all that shit goes right out the window.
Yep.
I was talking to a customer of mine that lives in the Philippines, and it was funny just talking about the differences. He had lived in the United States for 15 years and comes and goes often, so he's very familiar with our society. But like the use of pronouns and climate change and going green and veganism, that shit does not exist over there. Like there's no faction of their society that adheres to any of that shit. Like it's not even a thought process.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the luxury to be able to think that way. And if you were to knock America on its ass for a few months, nobody would give a fuck about it here either.
No,
they wouldn't. Like you'd see vegans eating meat. You'd see people, that end their emails in she, her, hers. Like that wouldn't be a thing anymore. Like, cause people wouldn't have time to fucking, or any ounce of give a shit to even worry about stuff like that. When you're freezing your ass off, when you're having to kill shit to eat it, like that completely changes the way you think about everything, and unfortunately this is that same thing.
Oh yeah.
It's an element of our society that's gotten so comfortable and so unrealistic about the way things work that they have this, notion of in theory, this sounds good and makes us feel good about ourselves, but it's a shitty idea. It reminds me of really emotionally driven pet owners. And engaging in selfish love and doing things for their dog because it makes them feel better, even though it's really bad for their dog. Like letting them just do whatever the fuck they want and having no boundaries and just coddling them for every fucking thing and whatever. Like it makes most people feel like they're a good dog owner, and it makes them feel better about themselves and their relationship with their dog, when in reality, they're enabling the dog to be an absolute little motherfucker.
Yeah.
And that's the same mentality that I see happening in a lot of ways with climate change, with, different rights of certain groups of people and things like that, is that not that everybody shouldn't have rights, but trying to go in the overcorrection phase so far to where now you're actually infringing on a bunch of other people, then that's a problem. But it's just, like I said, coming back to it, I think it's going to bite a lot of companies in the ass.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I'm curious, where do you guys see gasoline going in 10 years in like the hardcore car ownership field? Because like people are going to keep driving these things. In fact, if anything, they're going to be more coveted, right? Like gas engines are going to be, there's going to be less of them made, but they're going to be awesome in a decade, in 2 decades, because people are still going to work them and they're still going to have car shows. They're going to be like antiques, right? They're going to be a really fine thing. Do you see it to be like, I don't know, aftermarket companies still making this stuff?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to still make gas engines. I just don't know who.
I think it'll be like the cars that we deal in now, or classic cars, where like there'll be a niche.
Yeah.
They'll be really expensive. Like,
so
holy shit,
cool.
you have a gas car? Can I drive it? Like that's what it'll be. It'll be like, you got a 67 Mustang? Fuck, can I check it out? Like that, a regular fucking gasoline engine car.
Yeah.
I'd say 20, 30 years from now, if things continue to go the way that they are, that's probably how it'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super expensive, not easy to come across. You got to find, niche boutique fucking bespoke companies that make things just for certain cars. And there will be less of them. Like you're probably not going to see the wide scope of cars the way that you see now. It'll be like a handful of brands,
right?
Just like look at old muscle cars, like you're probably only going to see Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. Like you're probably not going to see a fucking Civic that's restored.
Yeah.
You might, but I doubt
sure.
it.
Yeah.
It's probably only going to be cars that are that at least have something special, or like a truck, an off-road truck, a fucking station wagon, things that are at least there's something to them that's a little unique.
Yeah.
That people kept because they wanted to have or whatever. But
yeah.
We'll probably still see Jeeps.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see stuff like that.
Yeah.
In a weird way, I'm looking forward to that element of it, because people will see them as like the special bit of engineering that they are. Gas engines are incredible. Like they really are. People underestimate them. You don't think that like you're driving to work in a machine that's powered by explosions. It's amazing.
Well,
like it's a feat of human engineering. It really is.
The meet you were late to, and we were
the meet that you barely showed up at.
Yes.
The dude with the Ferrari Testarossa. People are fucking in awe because the dude has his engine bay open and he's revving it from the engine bay.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, if you ever worked on a car with your dad, or back when I used to work on old carbureted in the first era of fuel injection before it all went electric pedal and shit.
Yeah.
You could reach in by the fucking throttle and hit the fucking cable and just rev your shit up, if you're working on it. And my wife looks at me. She said, we need that car. Why? So I can sit there and just rev it up from outside.
Because it's badass.
I'm like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
You're young.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just the shit. Yeah. In 30 years, our kids aren't going to know, oh shit, there's gasoline.
Right.
You know, and it's like,
Yeah, it'll be like floppy disks. They'll be like, look at that fucking
Jesus.
or cassette tapes. You know, they'll
Yeah.
be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
yeah, they
It's
don't
a
know.
fucking gas car. Look at that.
Gasoline?
They don't know nothing about sticking a number 2 pencil up in your tape and motherfucking rewinding it
That's
because that
right.
bitch came undone.
Well, the other thing, the one thing that I think is will be tricky or kind of remains to be seen is gas itself.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Is that, you know, like right now it's used on such a high scale, volume wise, that it's really cheap to fucking produce.
Yeah.
You cut that demand down to say 5% of that, and now it's not.
Yeah.
Because all of the infrastructure and mechanisms that are in place to produce it, it's like Walmart. You know, it's like the reason their shit is so cheap is because there's so fucking much of it. You go to a mom and pop where it's one fucking store and their prices are, you know, way fucking higher. Well, gas is going to be that, but on steroids, because that manufacturing process is really expensive to maintain if there's a handful of units.
Yeah.
You know, there's not going to be pipelines and ships, because owning those ships, owning those pipelines, maintaining all of that shit is not going to be worth doing for a few 100,000 barrels of gas a year, you know.
Right.
So the production of it in and of itself may come to that critical mass threshold and going under it, where it actually, you know, makes itself extinct that way.
Yeah.
To where it becomes actually really difficult to even get gasoline. The only caveat to that is that, you know, having worked in the gas and oil field for just a very brief time when I first got out, but I worked for ExxonMobil, and learning about, you know, where they have all of their facilities and kind of how they work is very fascinating. But it's also, and it makes you realize how they make the amount of money that they do, is that when they drill a well, that well in most cases is usually operable for 10, 20, 30 years. You know, on average 20 odd some fucking years. And so, you know, they may put, you know, a couple $1 million into drilling one well that now for the next 28 years, it's producing, you know, thousands of barrels of oil every day for decades.
Right.
You know, so all of the drilling that's being done right now is still gonna be producing. But the question is that, will they even bother to continue to operate them with all of those other infrastructure pieces in play, that when the demand gets so low to where the costs don't justify even keeping them going,
Yeah.
then that's when you're going to have a problem. And gasoline engines may kind of cease to exist at that point, or the ability to actually still use them may be almost impossible.
You see a big jump to something like ethanol, right?
Ethanol could be a big possibility.
Like a,
Yeah, maybe,
a
but-
step in between gas and.
I think you'd say alcohol before
Yeah, I mean,
ethanol.
well, I mean, maybe, but the thing with ethanol, though, you know, pure ethanol is like, that's a different engine that you have.
Yeah.
Like, it's a totally different fuel pump, fuel system, lines, everything. Because pure ethanol, the octane is on 100% ethanol is like 140 or 150. Yeah. I mean, E85 as an example, so 15% regular gas, 85% ethanol. The octane rating's like 112 on that, you know, so we typically use 89, 91, 93, you know, you're talking 112. I mean, that's race gas,
Yeah.
you know, which, so like if I take my, like the R8 as an example, when we switched it from regular pump gas to ethanol to an E85 kit, like you've got to redo a lot of components of the engine, primarily in the fuel system, but still, like you have to set those engines up to be able to run off of that, which, you know, I mean, if it comes to that, I don't think people will, you know, balk at that, because it's like it's that or nothing, you know.
Yeah.
So it can be done, but it will just further complicate things and make things even more difficult, I think, to go down that road.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
It's going to be a trip for sure.
I just hope someone steps in and, hey, this is bullshit. Y'all keep doing what you're doing.
I don't think it will, though.
No.
And the reason why is that, you know, I mean, if you think about just the difference between you and I and Zach,
Yeah.
as an example, right?
Yeah, we're cool. He sucks.
Right. Like, we're old school. He's not.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, of
And
course.
so, you know, but the things that you and I love and appreciate about manuals and cars, like the newer generation really doesn't that same way. And now generation after generation, I mean, when you get the first generation that grows up primarily driving electric cars, not only are they not going to give a shit about gas, like they're probably going to be anti, like, no, get rid of those fucking things. We want to see more development on the EV side.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the clinging that we have to what we have. I mean, take a manual as an example. Like, all things considered, manuals are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Compared to what they have now, especially when you start getting over into the EV market. But even with dual clutch and PDKs and whatever, like, those are so much better.
Yeah.
And so much faster. And frankly, so much easier and safer because you've got both hands on the wheel all the time, or you can. Is that, but you and I, like, I'm thinking about going, 10 steps backwards and buying a manual because I that's what I grew up with, and it was fun and it's nostalgic. Like, that's the only reason you would have that, right?
Yeah.
There's no practical reason to have that. I mean, for that matter, there's no practical reason to own a fucking Pista.
No.
I mean, not really. Like, it's 100% just for the enjoyment of the driving experience. So I think as generations go, just like with guns, I mean, look, 50 years ago, like, everybody had guns, everybody liked guns, I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, you had gun safety in school, like, everybody had them. It was a part of our culture.
Yeah.
Now it still is, but half the country fucking hates them.
Yeah.
And will not allow them in their house, hates them, and thinks of them as not just an inanimate object, but a tool of death that is responsible for murdering people. Like that's a big paradigm shift, and I see that same thing happen or will happen, with gasoline cars, is that same kind of weird emotional political vitriol towards them, thinking that it's you're that fucking prick Trump supporter asshole driving the gas car that's ruining the environment. Like there's that attachment to it.
Yeah.
So I do really think that those days are numbered because of that. I mean, when you see companies like Audi, switching, like, saying we're not going to develop fucking gas engines anymore. Are you shitting me? Like, fucking Audi.
Yeah.
Dodge.
Yeah.
SRT is I mean, like, those are political decisions. Like, those aren't just business decisions,
Yeah.
And so if politics play that big a role in these big companies making those types of policies, to me, like, it's just a matter of time before our entire society just feels that way about gasoline engines, is that, like, it's going to be looked at as a negative, and, like, you're going to be considered a fuck. I mean, it'll probably be akin to waving a fucking Confederate flag, like you driving around in a gas engine. I wouldn't be surprised if, the Biden type administrations, if they keep going, where they actually ban them, and say, just like really anything else, like they're trying to ban guns, they'll try to ban, fucking gas engines because they're killing the environment. Like, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Sure.
Me personally, I don't give a fuck about the environment because I won't be here when it's fucking done. And fuck those kids. But what if they're your grandkids?
Yeah.
Fuck them. I didn't meet them.
It's you and every American before us. Yeah. Like, I don't give a shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about the country back in the day. But back when everybody did carry guns, there was a lot less fucking crime.
People drove to high school with fucking gun mounts on their
Dude,
car. I
they
didn't give a
used to-
shit. Yeah.
Used to be fucking shotguns and motherfucking truck windows and shit
It was easy.
in them gasoline motherfucking engines.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Times are fucking changing.
Yeah.
Jesus, they are.
But everything evolves. I mean, with the curse of, say, the guns getting fucked with, well, people have seen that writing on the wall for a while. So the black powder guns, them motherfuckers are shooting them bitch 600, 700, 800 yards now like they ain't shit.
Really?
And,
or like we talked about, the compressed air guns.
yeah.
Good God,
But if you would have told a fucking Civil War guy, hey, a couple 100 years,
Yeah. We're going to be shooting these again.
yeah. We're going to be shooting these again, but not 20 yards apart and fucking taking breaks to reload.
Yeah, don't take 60
This shit's going
seconds
to
to
be
reload.
fucking quick to reload.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a horn and a motherfucker holding a stop sign.
Sure.
It's,
Tear those ammo packs off with your teeth.
yeah, I mean, shit's going to be way different, but everything evolves. So hopefully we'll see an evolution in the gasoline side too. Who knows? We may pour black powder down our shit and blow the fuck out of that
Black
engine.
powder guns. Jesus.
Zach, you ain't shot shit.
My pops has a couple actually. So my dad, being a history teacher, he does those reenactments.
Yeah.
And so I went with him one year when I was in high school and did Goliad, Texas
Yeah.
reenactment. That was cool stuff, man. Like camp out there and hang out with those dudes and walk out on the battlefield, shoot those things at each other.
Yeah.
Are you
6
a
foot
Ren
long.
Fair guy?
No.
You are, aren't you?
All right, listen. So I go.
Yeah.
I don't dress up
Or not often?
ever. My wife likes going to them.
Yeah.
Does she
So-
dress up?
Yeah, she does.
Is that
I
what,
never
what does
do.
she like? What angle does she take?
She'll put on like a dress and put her hair up or something. She doesn't really do anything specific. She's not ever dressing up like an elf or anything, but
That's your job.
that's right. No, I never dress up. And she's always like, come on. And I'm like, I know. It's just not my bag, man. I'll go. I'll walk around. I'll look at everybody else, I guess. I get
Zach-
one of those fat turkey legs, but
Zach, you can admit it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't. I really don't. It's probably something I should do.
Yeah.
I should have more confidence and be like, fuck yeah, dress up, put on the elf shoes and
You think
everything, but I
it'd get you
really
laid?
don't. No.
Would it get you
I do not
roadhead?
think it would get me laid.
Or are you saying that like because you're not getting laid anyway, or because you are getting laid whether you do it or not?
I think because I'm getting laid whether I do it or not. Yeah.
That shit'll go away.
But it
and
won't
you'll
make a
start
difference.
dressing the fuck up.
Yeah. No, I don't dress up. I made that clear from the beginning. I was like, I'll
you'll
come
be-
with you to these things. I'm not dressing up.
You'll
I'll
be,
dress up,
you'll
guy.
be feeding her the turkey leg.
That's right.
We do some dumbass shit for our women.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dumbest thing you've ever done.
Fucking get 3 cats.
That's a lot of pussy. Zach.
Jesus. I dressed up one year. you
Oh,
go.
so,
Boom.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so now
That's
we're built.
Dressing up and walking around like an asshole all day. That's a big one, man.
Oh, hold up. I didn't know
Yeah.
we were going to lie to each other and then come back and fix it. Here, let me change
I literally
mine.
never do it. Well, I did this one
Well,
time.
I did once, yeah, and that was the dumbest shit I ever did. Yeah.
What did you dress up as?
An
elf?
No, I was some kind of
Court jester.
something like that. Yeah. It was right next to her stepmom's birthday. And they all go every year as a family, which is how I got roped into going because, like, you're part of the family, you got to go. And her birthday thing was like, everybody needs to dress up. And I was like, including me, like, including you. I was like, oh, fuck, okay, yeah, I'll fucking do my bit. So they had some goofy, like, Knights costume thing they got from fucking Party Central or whatever that store is.
Party
Yeah,
City?
Party City, yeah. So I threw that on for a day. Fucking hated it. Deleted the photos.
you were
Your friend on Facebook will probably fucking find them. Jesus.
Jordan, get on that.
Jordan, please let me have my
Zach Ren
dignity.
Fair 2007.
Yeah, Zach. Oh god.
So what's yours, though?
Dumbest thing I've ever done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I mean, nothing comes to mind, honestly. Like,
I gotta have a better answer than dressing up. I can do better than that. Let me think.
No, that's pretty embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I will say, not trying to sound like hard, I've generally maintained that, like, if I want to do it, I'll do it. If I don't, I'm not going to, you know, and like, if that's a problem, fuck you,
Yeah.
which is probably why I'm not married anymore,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something where I like felt embarrassed and humiliated. Either like I'm overly confident and just don't give a fuck, or I haven't done anything that I thought was like, man, this is fucking stupid. I can't believe I'm doing it. I mean, really nothing that I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The closest thing I can think that was embarrassing, the cats aren't fucking embarrassing. They're just fucking annoying. Like every morning I have a fucking want to shoot something rage. Probably the most embarrassing was last Christmas. Hey, we're all dressing up in pajamas. Don't worry. They got something different and we show up. Everybody's fucking matching. It's like, motherfucker.
Wow.
And then I really felt like a dick when Mike had fucking pockets in his shit and I didn't.
Yeah, I could jerk myself off.
Yeah, Mike's over here with fucking pockets and shit. Everybody else fucking
He's
shit.
got to go fucking full Al Bundy.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I'm fucking sitting here with fucking my gun falling into my socks and shit. And fucking, don't worry, I still had a gun on.
There you go. Of course.
Always have a gun
Always.
So, you want to get into these questions or
Yeah.
y'all got some more shit?
Dig in.
So these, I asked the go ahead.
How much time we got?
We got like an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to go over the post. There's kind of a long tail on this kite, so bear with me. One of the viewers was talking about what happened after the car meet this last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to share that, but it's in preface to a personal constitution question that this is kind of for all three of us as well as everybody listening. Is that I got so anyway? I'm on the way back from the car meet. I'm in the pista. This white CTSV pulls up and kind of gives you the unwritten, like, hey, let's fucking race. I mean, I was in the far right lane getting on one road, and he kind of went ahead and got over in front of me. I'm assuming seeing that I was over there and wanted to kind of follow me, but get ahead of me there because he was in the far left lane before that. Anyway, so we're kind of jockeying a little bit, and we get after it, and we're pushing the limits a little bit. Anyway, long story short, I get fucking pulled over by a blue unmarked a Charger that I don't know if it's souped up or not. I'm assuming it's got a little extra in it.
It's got to have something in it.
But anyway, so I get pulled over, and it made me think of, like, if you were a cop, what would you do kind of thing, which led into kind of the personal constitution. And the reason it was prevalent is that I was thinking to myself, like, at first I was pissed, right? I'm like, fuck, goddamn, why you got to pull me over? Who gives a fuck? Whatever. And, but then I was like, in trying to be non-emotional and not biased and fair, like, that's the law, right? I know that that's the law, whether I agree with it or not. I know that that's what it is. Like, if I go faster than X speed and a cop pulls me over, like, I'm going to get in trouble for it. I'm going to pay a ticket or get arrested or whatever. So I know what those consequences are, and I'm still doing it even though I know what they are. But it also made me think, like, from a cop standpoint, like, they also have discretion, right? Like, they don't have to give you a ticket. They can say, yeah, okay, given the circumstances, I'm not sweating it, and there's a lot of circumstances that can make them say, yeah, tough shit, you're getting a ticket, or be like, oh yeah, your wife's, in labor and she's sitting there bleeding all over your fucking seat. Yeah. Like, how about an escort, and everything in between. But what it made me think is that, one of the most common interactions I have with people, as it relates to that is with masks, in stores. Is that if you walk in and they're like, hey, you have to have a mask on. Okay, well, the state mandate says that you don't. And frankly, like, what the fuck? And at first, in every instance, when I argue with them or start discussing it with them, they take a very offensive, like, you will have a mask. You have to do this. It's for our safety, blah, blah, blah. But when I, ask them simple questions like, okay, is that the first time you've put that mask on? No. Did you wear a brand new pair of sterile latex gloves to put it on? No. Okay, so the virus is a virus. Like, COVID doesn't spread any harder or easier than any other virus. It's very similar in terms of how communicable it is, just like with bacteria. So bacteria and viruses, let's say, for the sake of argument, in a surgery room, would you find it acceptable if your doctor surgeon walked in with his bare hands and pulled a mask out of his back pocket and put it on that he's used for the last 30 days and performed your surgery that way? No.
Yeah. Fuck no.
Okay. Then why is it any more acceptable in terms of you thinking that it's going to keep that virus from spreading in the piss poor, from a communicable, transmittable disease standpoint? Like, these hygiene practices are laughable at best.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like honestly, they're not even laughable. They're embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like the fact that people think that, like, let's just say I have the virus and I put a mask on, even if it's brand new, with bare hands, and I'm fiddle fucking with it with my bare hands, and then I'm touching things, and then I take it off and I put it in my back pocket and I put it back on. Like, if I have that virus and that virus is now in that mask, every time I touch it, now it's all over my hands. And now I'm finger fucking everything inside of a store, and I'm constantly moving it, and then it's not covering my nose, and then I'm putting it back up, like, and you're taking it on and off. You're actually making it worse.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you have that conversation with just the poor schmuck that is the unfortunate asshole standing in front of me while I'm arguing about, that's okay. Once you present them with facts that are frankly irrefutable in terms of being able to argue that what I'm saying doesn't make sense, and that wearing a mask the way that we're doing it is still a good idea. It's, hey man, dude, I don't make the rules. I'm just doing my job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Even that, fair enough. But what my question is, and this relates to the cop too, is why I would never ever want to be a cop, is because there's way too many fucking laws I disagree with that I'm not going to enforce. I'd be a shitty cop. But for everybody listening, where is your line? Because I would bet that most people listening have jobs fuck, I hope you do. I hope you're not sitting at home fucking sucking the government's teat listening to us.
Yeah, assholes.
But you know, in that job, I'm sure there are things that you have to do that you disagree with. But what my question is, especially as it relates to COVID and cops, is that where do you draw that line? Right? At what point do you say, even though, yes, it's like I don't make the rules, this is a rule that I don't, even if I don't agree with it, I'm still having to enforce. Like, at what point do you say, no, like I disagree so vehemently with this that I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm either going to quit, I'll risk getting fired, I'll use my own discretion that I have or don't have, and I'm willing to put up with the consequences. Like, do you even know where that is?
Yeah.
You know, and to me, like, that's a really important question. I talk about it in my book that's coming out this summer. Having a personal constitution and knowing where you stand on that. And I would ask everybody, like, comment, like, is there a line? Have you ever even thought of where that is of at your work? Like, is there a rule to where at some point you'd say, you know what? No, I'm not fucking enforcing that. And you can fire me if you disagree with it. You know, like, to me, that's an important thing to think about. Zach?
Man, and that's a great question. I think more people need to have those boundaries. I think the system we've got set up right now, people are too afraid of unemployment and losing their jobs and trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills. Folks, the Americans are stretched thin. And I think people are too scared to step up and say, hey, this is bullshit, and I'm not going to do it, because nobody wants to get fired and nobody wants to get laid off. And I totally get that. But we need to be more adult about having conversations about this bullshit. I'm in the same camp. Like, I'm more okay with wearing a mask into a grocery store or whatever, because I'm too socially awkward to deal with what the fuck would happen if I have to have a conversation with somebody about not wearing one. So I can hide behind you guys when we go out.
Yeah.
But come on. Yesterday I was working a gig at a studio in town, and these clients came in and they said, hey, we're real COVID sensitive. Everybody's got to wear a mask. Okay, fine, whatever. This is part of the job, fine. And they had us pass around a clipboard and a pen to sign our names and, like, take temperatures. And everybody in that fucking studio touched that clipboard and pen, one after another. I was like, all of us could have it, right? That's how this works. What fucking safety are we actually doing here? It's a fugazi. And the problem is there are people out there that want to say the quiet part out loud and go, this is bullshit, and we all know it. Yeah. And everybody's too scared to say it because you don't want to ruffle feathers. I agree there needs to be a line. I don't know where that is for me. I'd have to think about it for a minute.
First off, you should have coughed, then grab the clipboard.
I'd have licked the pen.
I mean, yeah, they passed this fucking thing around. I'm holding it, and I'm like, if the first guy in line's got COVID, we're all done.
Yeah, I mean, so to me, here's my response to that in terms of how do you navigate that, is that, you know, you kind of said it, is that you don't want the social awkwardness.
Exactly.
To me, that's the biggest part of the problem, is that's what everybody thinks.
Yes.
You know, it's just like, I don't want to have the uncomfortable conversation with my boss or my employee or whatever because they fucked up. Like, it's easier to just kind of ignore it.
Yep.
That uncomfortable and awkward confrontation is a necessary and crucial first step to anything changing. Without that, it's never going to. And most people have the exact same position. And so to me, the right answer is just bringing that up. And you can bring it up without being a total confrontational dick. I can't. Like, I come across that way no matter what. And I know Matt does too. Like almost everybody we meet thinks we're either dicks or pissed off or both, you know, or whatever. Whatever. But anyway, is it just saying, I have a question for you, you know, just for my clarification. Sure. Like, you guys mentioned you're very COVID sensitive and you want us to wear a mask.
Yep.
Can you explain to me then what the thought process is of having a pen that we all use without gloves and a clipboard? Because if you're sensitive, to me, that doesn't really make sense. Can you explain why this is a good idea?
Right.
Like, I would say that.
Yeah.
You know, now
explain like I'm 5. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because like to me, we're not wearing gloves. We're not using hand sanitizer. We're all using the same pen.
Right.
Like, if you were to not do that, that would be a better idea COVID protocol wise than doing that.
Yes.
So what is the reason behind this?
Right.
Like, at least get somebody that has to defend that position, because, you know, I see that a lot on the left because so much of the media is liberal.
Yep.
And why so many liberal policies go unchecked and just fucking continue to steamroll and snowball into the ridiculousness that you see is because of that.
Yeah.
And the fact that those people that mandate those things, both in the media and in the corporate world, are never, ever fucking challenged. Yeah. They never have to defend how goddamn ridiculous their position is.
Right.
Because when you have to defend that and you can't, that makes you think introspectively, at least even if it's for a few seconds, like, wait a minute, like, yeah, you know what? Fuck, this doesn't make sense.
Yep.
A lot of people don't even think of it. But if you can at least make them think like, yeah, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't make sense, you know, whether it's that or the surgeon example is that, I can tell you from doing detection dogs, right, is that when you're teaching a dog to indicate on a specific odor, that odor doesn't mean shit to the dog, right? So let's say it's explosive. It's fucking C4. Now, the dog doesn't know that it's C4. I do.
Yeah.
He has no fucking idea. What does he know? He knows that whatever odor that he has come across and he's been rewarded for finding is what now he wants to find.
Yeah.
Well, so if that C4 has my hand odor on it or has plastic bag odor on it or whatever container it was in odor on it, he's also smelling those things. And so if I don't proof him off of those things, then he's going to be fine. Like, I can set this bottle because it's got my hand odor and the same plastic that the explosives are stored in if you're doing it wrong, and he's going to hit on that fucking bottle. I do it all the time in double blind testing. Like, I'll say, hey, you know, handler X, give me that soda can that you're drinking out of. Give me that with a pair of gloves. I'll go hide it somewhere, and the dog hits on it.
Wow.
Because his handler's been doing really shitty fucking detection training. My point in all of this is that the only way that you can keep odor from being contaminated is treating it the same way that you do communicable diseases, which is using a fresh pair of gloves, and not just let me grab a wad of gloves and stick it in my pocket and use them. Like, you've got to grab them by the wrist and put them on one at a time, because if you grab them where the hands are, guess what? If it's a virus or a dog's nose, it's going to be on those fingers. Right. And so if I grab gloves barehanded, it's on there. If I grab a mask and do this with it and fiddle fuck and adjust it just right, guess what? Now it's all over your fucking hands. Like, if it's an actual virus that you're that worried about, replace COVID with Ebola, right?
Yeah.
Like,
we remember that, 2009.
I fucking promise you, if it was Ebola and not COVID, you wouldn't have the All-Star game being argued about what fucking state it's in. It wouldn't be fucking happening.
Yep.
You wouldn't be arguing about whether or not I have to stand or sit or you need to wear a mask on at a restaurant, because I'll tell you right now, like, if it was Ebola, I wouldn't be going any fucking where.
Yeah.
Right? So that tells you, just that in and of itself, how willing people are to go out and about and do the things with these half-assed cheese dick fucking politically expedient measures that make them feel better about themselves and also make them feel like they're in control of something. Tells you that it's all bullshit.
It is all bullshit. Yes.
You know, but the fact is the way that you start, and this is for most people, this is really the crux of my book, is that everything is so overwhelming when you see such a shit sandwich, is that most people are overwhelmed and they're like, dude, what the fuck am I supposed to do about any of this? That's what you can do about it.
Yeah.
Is that in every one of those instances, even though it's awkward and it's shitty, have that conversation. You can do it in a manner with which you're not being a disrespectful asshole and getting fired.
Yeah.
You know, but just say, look, just for my clarification, because I don't understand.
Right.
If you're, COVID sensitive and this is a particular thing that you're specific about, why are we using the same clipboard and pen? Like, if you had it, as an example, you putting a mask on with bare hands and then handing me a clipboard and a pen, like, you're going to give that to me.
Yep.
Like, so what are we doing?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so starting by that, making people who have indefensible positions defend their positions is step one to cutting out the bullshit, because if nobody ever calls them on it, it's never going to change.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, you're right. You got to have hard conversations, and people are afraid to do that. I'm afraid to do it. I fucking hate hard conversations. They're the worst.
My simple answer to that is I'll never ask anybody to do something I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
You know? And with my guys, I've literally done everything they do.
Yeah.
And if they tell me, well, you wouldn't do it, bitch, stay where you're at. And I'll fucking drive over there.
Way. Yeah.
And chances are they're not going to like the end result after I show them that I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you won't do it yourself, don't ask somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
And as far as the mask situations, I can't think of a place. In the beginning, I wore masks. Okay, cool.
Well, you had to. If you were going to get groceries, you didn't have a choice.
I'm going to follow the rules.
Sure.
And I think me and Mike went somewhere, and I asked Mike, you got a mask? No, fuck them. Mike walked in. I was like, oh, that's a thing?
Right. So nobody said you could do this. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So from then on, pretty much, and if I walked in and you got to have a mask on, fuck you.
Yeah.
Or I just won't shop here.
Right.
But nobody really says anything.
Yeah.
They just,
Well, I mean, so that works both ways,
Yeah.
right? Is that a lot of times people don't want to have that uncomfortable confrontation of somebody that's not wearing a mask. That and a lot of it is the context of your presence and how you carry yourself and whatever. And I think that's a lot of it is that, you know, there's certain people that most people are going to be like, you know what, I'm not going to fuck with this guy.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that will come out and it's a dick measuring contest. And I got beat up too many times in high school, and I want to make you know that I'm in control and I can make you put a mask on or whatever. And you know, there's those people too. But, you know, to me, like, and I hate that this is even part of the conversation, but I really feel like a lot of it is because Trump was so divisive and he stood on one side of the mask fence.
Yes.
That the other side, stands on the other side of the fence, is that I really think that a mask at this point is really a political flag.
It's politicized, of course.
It's a political flag.
Yeah.
So if I walk in without wearing a mask and there's somebody who's a huge fucking mask guy,
Sure.
he's automatically going to think, I bet he's a Republican and I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to go over to him and say, you have to wear a fucking mask.
Right.
If you
He
wanna
probably
come in
drives
here."
a gas car. Like, oh yeah, that whole fucking,
I mean,
all of it falls in place.
So
Yeah.
for the employees that are that fucking adamant about it, that's frankly most of it.
Yeah.
And I challenge anybody who disagrees with me to fucking, I mean, we'll invite them on the show. We'll come have a debate.
Yeah.
I'm happy to debate it with you because I see it. You can see it. You know, the mask in and of itself, it has clearly, after all of the things that we've just talked about, like from a medical standpoint, the mask makes no sense.
yeah.
It doesn't.
No.
You know, not the way that we're implementing it, you know, because if it did, you'd have to wear a fresh pair of gloves put on the right way, a brand new mask. You go into the store, you do your thing, and then there's a biohazard container right outside the door that as you walk out, you take the mask off, you take the gloves off, and they go into a biohazard container. And you do that every single time you go anywhere into any establishment and do any type of shopping or eating or whatever.
Sure.
Is that protocol would need to be followed every single fucking time
Yep.
for it to be effective. Now, if you did that, if every single motherfucker and not, oh, you're under 3, no, that's fine. They're the dirtiest motherfuckers out there. They
bioterrorists.
put everything in their
Yes.
fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I agree. Like they're not going to understand what a mask is, and it's probably going to fuck with them more than anything, but that's not an excuse.
Yeah, come the fuck
like,
on.
That doesn't mean that they can't spread shit, you know? So like there's so many inconsistencies that nobody, I mean, bring a fucking doctor on here and I'd be happy to argue with them. Like at this point, you can't say that the way that we're using masks is
Right.
actually an effective countermeasure. So if we can at least be adult enough to agree on that, then it's pretty easy to ascertain through deductive reasoning then that the simple reason why it's still happening is 100% political.
Right. It's a bit.
100% political.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
And all this because Mike got a speeding ticket.
Who put the long tail on that kite?
It's right.
Yeah. Well, but it did. Like I was sitting there thinking, because at first I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, he's doing his job. But what if I was him? I'm glad I'm not him because I wouldn't pull me over.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Like
Yeah.
I don't, and it's not just because I like speeding. Like, you know, this is way before. I mean, when I first got my license, I didn't like seatbelt tickets. I don't like parking tickets. I don't like speeding tickets. I don't like any of that shit.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and again, this was way before I've never given a fuck about people speeding past me. Never. Even when I fucking had no interest in sports cars or fast cars, whatever. I always thought speeding tickets were dumb as fuck. And I still do. I think even more so now because I've had some of them.
Yeah.
But you know, it just made me think. Like at first I was pissed, then I was fucking empathetic. Then I was like, but wait a minute. Like if you're doing a job that you're implementing things you disagree with, well, that's fucking stupid. And
Yeah.
so, you know, here we are. That's how my mind works. Sue me.
Yeah.
I'd be fucked up. I guess it would be somewhat the car guy in me. I would still pull over speeders, but it wouldn't be for speeding. It would be for going faster than your equipment should allow. So if you're in a Honda Civic
Yeah.
doing 120,
Well, I mean, if it'll go that fast,
yeah, but
true.
what if his tire blows and he
Right.
can't brake because the tires aren't made to do that?
yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna pull that dude over. Am I gonna write him a ticket? Probably not. But if I see the dickhead doing it again, yeah, then I'm writing him a ticket. But
Yeah.
if I pull that same Honda Civic over to warn him, hey man, slow down. Your tires are only rated for about 100 miles an hour. I don't give a fuck. You down
Yeah.
my stretch of highway Monday through Friday, do 100.
Yeah.
Don't do 120. But if that motherfucker comes at me with, bro, why you pulling me over? I ain't giving you none of my shit right out of the gate. Oh, fuck you, motherfucker. You're getting a ticket.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I have a very, with great freedom comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, because to me, all of that stuff is a slippery slope. Frankly, is that it's like, well, he gave me attitude. Okay, well, it doesn't make it any more illegal or
That's true.
or less legal. But to me, more than anything, it's like, you know, it's the nuance of, you know, the tires are rated for 100 and you were going 105, so you get a ticket versus, okay, well, 70 miles an hour, if you have a blowout, like you can still kill
Yeah,
somebody.
you're still going to fuck people up.
Right. And so to me, like that's the thing, is that like, unless you're willing to reduce the speed limit and make cars not able to go more than 12 miles an hour,
Yeah.
then none of it really fucking matters. Like,
That's true.
You know, 40, 50, 60,000 people a year still die every fucking year in car crashes. Is it possible that it would be more if it was a completely Autobahn style, there's no speed limit anywhere? Yeah, probably. But I think most people, most of the people that go that speed limit would do that in certain times where it makes sense, and the people that don't give a fuck still aren't going to give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like with drugs. Like there's still people that do 70 miles an hour past a school at 3:30 because they don't give a fuck. You know, like those people are still not going to give a fuck. The people that do and are cognizant of the fact that there's probably going to be little kids running around are going to slow the fuck down whether there's a speed limit or not. You know, and so to me, it's like with drugs or guns or anything else, is that, you know, that in theory on paper, like let's put these measures in place to try to legislate common decency and good behavior, and you can't. Like that's learned as a child and as people grow into adulthood. And yes, you can make certain penalties severe enough to keep people from doing certain things, but those aren't the rule. I mean, those are really more the exception. You know, most people are going to do what they do irrespective of it, and it just, I don't know. It to me, like I don't like that aspect of our fucking society that way. But
Yeah. No.
I would take mine back.
Oh, yeah.
I would pull over motherfuckers doing fucking speed limit in the fast lane.
yeah,
You know how fast you're
I'd
going?
ticket the fuck out of them.
Exactly the speed limit. Get the fuck over.
You're impeding traffic, bitch. Here's
right.
a ticket. Get the fuck out of
Jesus,
my
me
way.
too. So none of us would be good cops. That's what I'm hearing. We'd all be bad cops.
yeah. I mean, because I disagree with so much of what's illegal. I just wouldn't enforce it.
Oh, sure.
So I'm not the guy for that job.
Yeah, I would not hit that ticket quota. I just wouldn't. Like, there's no way. I'd see somebody fly by me at 120 and be like, fuck yeah.
I mean, to me, what pisses me off even more about that is that, you know, especially with all of the other things that you see going on, you know, where crime, generally speaking, you know, has gone up considerably in most places.
Yep.
Over the last year, you know, and so it's like, meanwhile, somebody's breaking into a fucking house, and this dickhead is sitting on the side of the road with a fucking radar gun. It's like, how about you prioritize the shit that's really important?
Yep.
You know, because to me, that's not.
Yeah.
You know, like the DPS guys, as an example. I mean, you get like, you're fucking traffic cops, basically. I mean, what the fuck else are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you go do something that's more productive than that?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know, allocate resources for fucking child trafficking.
Yeah.
Like,
go put your cowboy hat on and go chase burglars.
I mean, something, fuck, you know, like, I mean, to me, it's like stepping over $1 to grab a nickel, you know, type of thing. It's like, that's really the best use of your guys' time is having an unmarked fucking Challenger driving around in traffic trying to find people speeding. Like, with all the other shit going on, that's what you guys are worried about. Like, to me, it's just fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So are unmarked cop cars, they're kind of bullshit, right?
Well, and on the, I mean there's,
they kind of are. Every time I see one, I'm just like, you fucking kidding me? Like,
and there's no way in hell. I mean, he can fight this ticket because the dude wasn't radaring him. Dude never even got to pace him.
Right.
So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, he asked me how fast I was going. It's like, I wasn't looking at the speedometer. I was watching the road.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Like, I was going faster than you, obviously, but.
Yeah.
Because you had to catch me.
You know, but I don't know how fucking fast I was going.
Yeah.
You know, I also don't really give a fuck.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I mean, again, like, and to me, it's just the whole thing is just dumb.
Yeah.
To me. But
So for you guys into averages,
Yeah.
every one ticket I get, Mike gets 2 so far.
What? Really?
So far.
So far.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
let's get into these questions with these. I asked the Patreons. Why'd I ask them? Because they're Patreons, motherfuckers.
Because they're here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys are always commenting, always in the live chats, always doing something. Some of these are some fucking rabbit hole ass questions.
We got some good patrons. They're cool people.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Can you sign into the Patreons?
I don't think so.
I need to figure out.
You could send me some stuff. I could do
Yeah,
it.
I need to figure out how to get you.
Yeah.
Because people have questions for you guys. I'm like, fuck, I ain't ever thought of that.
All right.
But anyways, I'll deal with that
Yeah.
off the air. One of them is from a user, Jake from State Farm. Now,
Hell yeah.
I'm a caveat that with that's my fucking oldest brother.
Oh, is it?
And he's also a VIP Patreon.
Yeah.
That's right, bitches. I make my brother pay.
We'll see you at Patreon Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My luck, he'll be the one we draw, so
He'll
we'll
be
have to redo it and talk about shit. He had a good question. Best carry pistol. And this is kind of a rabbit hole question because I carry a High Point. I'm just fucking kidding. I know yours.
I feel like
Well,
you guys
so
have-
yeah, I mean, so mine kind of depends. I would say, to pick one, yeah, it's the Glock 43X with a TLR 6 Streamlight fucking light on it. I carry either gold dots or Federal HST rounds, and for me that's usually what I carry. The caveat is if I know I'm going somewhere where there is a higher threat. Or way more people, or I'm further from home, or things like that just make the circumstances a little dicier, then I'll usually carry a full size with an extra mag because I can shoot longer range wise. I can acquire the sights a little faster. I can control the recoil a little better because it's a bigger frame, which means I can put rounds downrange faster. It carries more rounds. It's just a more competent pistol. It's got a brighter light on it. It's got the TLR1 on it. So
Is that the 17 or 19?
19.
19.
And, so, yeah, I mean, it's one of those two. Mostly it's the 43X, but
Yeah. Me up until 3 weeks ago was a SIG 365 XL, which
Yeah.
I have another one on order. I'm getting one with a safety. I do like that they come with that. Some people love safety. Some people don't. They like trigger safeties. Right now I'm carrying a SIG P320 carry. It's a M18 version. I just like SIGs. They're comfortable. I love both those versions, the Glock and the SIG, for the availability of accessories.
yeah.
To pretty much being a car guy and pretty much any type of thing I do, I like to have custom shit. I mean, fuck, we didn't need this fucking table in the studio, but we got a custom fucking table. Same with my guns.
Yeah.
Even though it's sitting on my hip, it's sitting in a nightstand. At the end of the day, if I can put something on there that makes it a little bit better and it looks a little bit cooler,
Yeah.
I think that's cool. So I want to do it. And that's what I love about Glock and SIG is they're very customizable. I have a Glock 43. Well, my wife has it. She took it from me. She shoots it very well. So she's running a Glock and I run SIG.
Nice.
The cool thing about SIG, I did want to show you guys this. This is a stock grip, lower module. I'm going to show you this other one real quick.
I don't have to blur this on YouTube, do I?
No, as long as we're not building it,
Okay.
you don't have to show it. Like if I build it online, yeah, you have to blur it. So
Really?
Icarus Precision,
Fucking YouTube.
which is an aluminum one, so that's a base stock one. This is the SOCOM one I was telling you about the other day.
That's night and day.
Yeah. And that's aluminum and it don't feel that fucking heavy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so much,
Oh shit.
And you can hear it. You can hear
so
it.
much better in your hand.
Yeah.
You just grab it.
That comes over.
Grab it like it's your
Oh
dick.
Jesus. Yeah. All right. Just holding them in your hand.
So that's what's cool about the Glocks, the SIGs. They're so modular now.
Yeah.
You know, you can buy FDU for the SIGs, and something I read Glock's fixing to do that because Glock, their lower is their serialized part versus SIG, it's just the trigger group. So you can pull it, move it to a whole new. I mean, you can build 4 fucking guns, as many as you want, really, off your trigger group. Which Glock, you got to get a lower bottom and do all that shit. So
just sounds right on the table.
that motherfucker sounds mean.
Awesome.
That's what I love about them. And there's other companies out there, H&K, Kimber. I don't want to carry a Kimber. too many 1911s have too many working fucking things that can go wrong to me.
Yeah.
Well, to me, the reason I have a Kimber 1911, and it's a great gun. It's not, but agreed, it's not something I'd carry for two main reasons. One is that the having it a certain way to keep it ready the way I feel comfortable, it's too ready.
Yeah.
You know, because the only way I would carry it is with a round in the chamber and the hammer back with a safety on it, which I don't like carrying a gun like that. It's too light of a trigger, and I don't like safeties, you know. So to me, what I love about Glocks and SIG similarly, with what they've come out with in the last 10 years, competing with the carry options, is that there's not an external safety, and the trigger is light, but not so light to where I'm worried that it's gonna fucking go off just by fucking looking at it wrong. Because I mean, that Kimber, the hammerback safety off, I mean, that thing is a hair motherfucking trigger.
It's like a 2-pound trigger, ain't it, or some shit?
It
like
feels
that?
like it's about a quarter-pound trigger.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like you just fucking barely fucking bump it and it's going off.
Yeah.
I don't like the old SIG double action 226.
Oh yeah.
The pound draw and the length of draw in the trigger on that is too much in my opinion. And I don't like double action guns because I like the trigger pull to be the exact same every single time. So for me, Glock just has that kind of happy medium. Was it a 3.5 pound trigger, or maybe that's the Ghost? I mean, it's light.
Yeah,
enough.
the Ghost is a 3.5.
It's light enough to be just right. You can still shoot it quick and accurately, but I'm not worried about it fucking going off, because I also don't carry a gun without a round in the chamber.
Yeah.
To me, I want to be able to get to it quick and fire it quick, and safeties and chambering rounds and all that kind of stuff just gets in the way.
And honestly, the best gun you could carry is the one you never have to use. I mean,
or at a minimum, if you do use it, you're
proficient,
deadly with it and quick.
Yeah. What do they say? The most deadly guy is the guy with one gun who knows how to use it well. The guy with
100 guns. Yeah.
And don't know how to use them.
It sucks.
I'm skipping through some of these questions because some of them we've gone over in other shows, like the reason we've picked the Challengers over the Road Glides. Harley sucks. So I'll switch to this one.
I mean, I'll expound a little bit on that. I don't think Harley sucks, but I think Indian makes a better bike.
Yeah, it's a better bike.
Yeah.
And Harley sucks. But the same guy asked another question. His name's Brandon Miller. Brandon's in the chat almost every fucking time.
Yeah, it rings a bell, Brandon. Hey,
a lot of these guys are.
Yeah.
If you could beat the shit out of any celebrity, which one?
Oh, Jesus, what a good question. Live or dead? Or is it just, I assume alive? Yeah.
Fuck it, any of them.
Oh, man.
They didn't put rules on it.
Yeah. Any celebrity. Give me a minute. I gotta think about that.
For me, that's impossible to narrow down.
Well, I mean,
there's so many good ones.
You're almost an asshole if you pick a chick, Now,
well, I mean,
what if you double down and you pick a married couple like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett? Like you go to beat his ass.
Well, but then you're racist because they're.
Are they?
No, you go as black skin. So you paint your. No, that's still fucking racist.
That's doubly bad.
Never mind.
Can they fight back?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like a knockdown, drag out.
Yeah, I mean,
are you sweating them, Zach?
If I was gonna, Will Smith would beat the shit out of me. Yes,
well,
like
with that attitude, he would.
Yeah.
He would. Yeah.
Zach's like, what's Macaulay Culkin doing?
Do I have
right
to
now?
jump on him? Yeah. What's the setup here?
But Macaulay Culkin, when he did Home Alone, that's when I want to beat him up.
Yeah,
right. When he was 8.
Yeah, it's a hard choice to who the fuck.
Let me think.
Because some of these dudes you fuck around and pick, some of them might beat the shit out of you.
I mean, so for me, as fun as it is to think about from a celebrity standpoint, to me, Chuck Schumer, he fucking pisses me off to the point at which I would like to beat his ass.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer. I mean, to me, like a politician needs their ass beat far more than a celebrity does.
Honestly.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to go with Charlie.
Those consequences will ring. Yeah, celebrity, they don't give a shit. They'll go on Instagram tomorrow.
And not just like beat his ass. I mean, the way Khabib dominates and gets inside people's heads and crushes their spirit, that's how I would beat his ass. Like it wouldn't be quick. I wouldn't just knock him out. Like I'd punish him for fucking 15 minutes.
Like there's a ton of YouTubers I'd beat the shit out of.
I was just thinking, I was like, mine might be a fucking YouTuber.
I don't want to classify them as celebrities because technically they're not.
A couple of big ones.
And it's actually our name's Uninfluenced because these guys are influencers. They're
Right.
not celebrities. So
Yeah.
we're uninfluenced. And there's a lot of those that, yeah, if y'all want a fucking box, just fucking holler at me. We can go in my backyard, fuck putting it on pay-per-view. Celebrity. Like if I was a chick, I'd go beat up AOC, beat the shit out that bitch.
I mean, I guess what constitutes a celebrity though? Is it a certain
Right.
number of followers?
But yeah,
Is
because
it-
that's a politician.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people know who a lot of the politicians are. Like at this point, that's another thing I talk about in my book. I'm not trying to plug it, I promise, but is that, you know, politicians up until about the social media era, most people had no idea who most of them were.
Yeah.
Right. And now like there's a certain celebrity status that accompanies most of the higher level politicians that now makes them act like celebrity assholes.
Yeah.
You know, like they think that they don't work for us anymore. And that's far from accurate.
Yeah.
You know, that they've taken on that celebrity mentality of like, I'm better than you guys and you follow me and you know, I've got 12 million Twitter followers and whatever. It's like, motherfucker, you work for me, not the other way around.
Yeah.
You know, and celebrities should take that same fucking mantra is that, you know, the reason you're famous is because people like me go watch your fucking movies. Don't forget that. Like I put food on your table. You don't put food on my fucking table.
Yeah.
You know, so drop the fucking attitude already.
Seeing celebrities is hard for me because I don't pay attention to
I don't
ones
give
I
enough
don't like.
I don't
Yeah.
give enough of a fuck about them.
That is the beauty of the DVR nowadays. If I don't fucking like your shit, I'll fucking fast forward or
Blow
just
right
won't
past
fucking
it.
watch it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Vin Diesel. Like I beat the fuck out that bald headed
Are you
motherfucker.
kidding?
I'm so sick of those.
350 pounds of man. You're not going to beat the
You're not
fuck
going
out
to
of him.
Fast 9 this summer?
Dude, I'm so sick of those dumbass movies.
I think I saw 3 of
Beat
them.
the shit out of him and use Ludacris as a bat to do
There
it.
you go.
All I'm saying, the series died with Paul Walker. No bullshit. I mean,
Dude, I
7
watched
should have been at big time, yeah.
I
They
watched
should've
Takers
stopped.
last night with Paul Walker, and I didn't realize him and his little brother were in it. It's a good fucking movie.
Takers?
Yeah, it's about
It's a heist movie, right?
yeah, they're fucking thieves. It's got a lot of good fucking actors in it, a couple rappers and shit.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
good fucking movie.
Takers.
Well, so, I mean, you know, tying it back in, I mean, he died, I think it was his financial advisor was driving his career at Porsche Carrera GT, which
he was a shotgun, right?
Mm-hmm.
which was I think it's a 606 horsepower rear wheel drive, no traction fucking mechanisms whatsoever. It was like one of the last, probably the last like true sports car that wasn't idiot proof or had no
And that car
mechanisms in
they
it.
were in was known to have issues.
Yeah.
So
But-
he was a good ass actor too.
He was. I mean, like to me, he and just like he kind of lived that lifestyle a little bit, which was neat.
True
you know?
car guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Which was cool. I mean, it is an absolute fucking.
you don't
shame
hear that Vin Diesel pussy
Yeah,
driving
you don't
around
see
a
him
bunch of
driving anything.
cool ass shit. He's driving a bunch of fucking V6 Dodges. That pisses me off. These motherfuckers in a V6 Dodge and then they fucking over fucking ride it and put some V8 fucking sound in there. Makes me want to punch them all in the fucking throat.
I also hate how much they shift.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Constant,
yeah. It's like why weren't you going fast before? Like it shows, you know, the pedal half down, and then all of a sudden, like they're so far behind that now they gun it.
Yeah.
They up down shift and fucking gun. It's like, come on.
Or I just ran 9 seconds and a quarter mile. Bitch, it took 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I watched it. That was the slowest quarter mile I've ever seen.
It's such a weird fucking. I was at the theater the other day. Went saw a movie. Voyager's not worth your time. But they ran the trailer for Fast 9. And it's weird. Every time I see a trailer for one of those movies, I'm like, this started with them stealing Panasonic VHS players out of shitty trucks in like 96. And now they're going to fucking space. Like,
Yeah.
what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bananas.
That's the society we're turning into.
I think I'd beat up PewDiePie. That's my answer.
All right.
I know he's hardly a celebrity, but he's the biggest YouTuber in the world. And I can just channel all that fucking rage at like the internet and society and this kid being a billionaire.
I think as
jealousy.
dorky as that motherfucker is, though,
yeah.
I think y'all would go to get in a fight.
And then be
And-
best friends.
Be
And then
best
kiss.
fucking
Yeah, me
friends.
too.
Yeah.
Whoa.
'Cause-
Wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa.
Hold on a second.
What happened
Wait
there?
a second.
Then we'd start making out.
That's right. Then we'd start.
I watched his fucking portfolio shit.
Yeah.
And how much that dude's a fucking genius.
That's the other thing. I think I could win. That's a big part of this. I think
You
I would
only
win.
want to fight people that you think you can beat.
Of course. Are you kidding?
See, no, that's not how fighting works. I mean, I've been in fights to where I'm like, this dude may beat the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Don't mean I ain't gonna talk shit up to the fight, and when it's over, I may still talk shit. Like, bitch, you
You barely beat my ass.
You may have knocked me out with that one hit, but man, my shoe was untied. I'll fuck you up.
I fucked your hands all up with my face.
Matt, you're the salt of the earth, man. I love it.
I'm sure he's the same way.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't give a fuck. Like,
I'm not that
for
way.
sure. There are plenty of people way tougher than me. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, pick a fight with them, but I'm not gonna run from them. I'll tell you that right fucking now.
Right.
I'm also gonna pull nuts and rip ears and gouge
That's
eyes
an
and
important
fucking stab
detail.
people,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
You're
there's
gonna
no fucking
fight dirty.
There's no
I mean,
rules.
Right.
we
Fighting
had,
is dirty.
We had a mantra: if you find yourself in a fair fight, you've done something horribly wrong.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, stack the deck. Like, I'm gonna stab you. I'll break a fucking bottle. I'll hit you with a chair. I'll fucking shoot somebody. I don't give a fuck.
Fighting's
like,
dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play fair. I'll tell you that right fucking now.
Sure.
I remember a fight I got into, got the shit beat out of me by a guy littler than me.
Oh, yeah?
And the reason I wouldn't hit him, I was in that weird stage to where I was scared I was going to kill people. If you hit them too hard.
I mean,
This little motherfucker gets me on the ground, puts his fingers in my eyeball.
Jesus
Dude,
Christ.
we're fucking like 10. And fucking, I go home, eyes watering and shit. And my oldest brother, he fucking, what happened? I got in a fight with so-and-so down the street. Did he win? Yeah. Let's go. Going back outside. You gonna whip that motherfucker's
yet, he
ass.
hasn't.
You gonna do that shit again.
That's
We're gonna
great.
play it back. And
That's funny.
But that's how it is. I mean, Mike talks shit to me. I talk shit back. It's not like, fuck, he's a SEAL. I ain't saying shit.
That's
Fuck
true.
that.
Yeah.
What's the worst that's gonna happen? He's gonna beat the shit out of me?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, cool, bro, let's go get dinner.
I mean, for me, it's like I absolutely go out of my way to not get in fights. Like, even if it means somebody talking shit and me like, yeah, okay, you're a tough guy, and just walking away. Like, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And that shit's harder than people think it is.
It is. It's especially like if your family's involved or whatever. Like, it's a disrespect thing. I had to me, like a good conversation with Bill Rapier on Mic Drop about that, because he lives and breathes that shit. He dry fires for fucking 15 minutes right when he wakes up every fucking morning. He does combatives all day long. Like, I mean, he's a consummate fucking warrior. But asking him, he's like, yeah, in a scenario where me and my family, he's got a wife and 5 or 6 fucking kids. Where somebody's being disrespectful to his wife and talking shit to his kids and whatever. He's like, is it hard to walk away from something like that? Yeah, it is. But you have to look at it from the big picture. Is that, what is my ultimate goal? Is to provide and protect my family if they absolutely need it, to be able to teach and mentor my kids and raise good and decent human beings, take care of my wife, et cetera. If I let my ego get in the way and now I beat that guy and he pulls a knife and I end up killing him, and I go to jail, like, now what have I done? Like, now my family is suffering far more than somebody just running their mouth about it, So you never know what somebody's going to do. You never know what they're going to pull. You never know what they have. You never know what their state of mind is. And they may be tougher than you too. You just don't know. And so to me, like, I've always, taken the position of like, I'm not going to ever start it and I'm not going to look for it. If I can avoid it at all costs, I will. If I can't, then yeah, I'm going to do every fucking thing I can to defeat that motherfucker and not be nice about it. But I'm never going to go looking for it.
Right.
know?
But if somebody demands a shot at the title, then they're going to fucking
Yeah, I mean,
get
like,
it. Yeah.
if somebody starts fucking coming after you,
If someone
like,
swings on you.
you have no choice, know, or does something with your kids or your wife or, whatever, then, you have to do what you have to do. But wait until it gets to that point and try to avoid it all the way up until it does.
Yeah.
Like that dude that hit the car, the Audi, that claimed I ran it. I wanted to beat this.
Oh,
I mean,
what happened?
I was shaking for fucking a good hour and a half, just adrenaline wanting to punch that motherfucker. But what happens if my gun, because I didn't have time to put my gun up, I'll start fighting with my gun slides out of my holster somehow, or he sees it and he fucking pulls it and shoots me.
Or just tries to grab it and you grab it and you end up shooting him. I mean, it's a lose-lose.
Or you're fighting and the cop pulls up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not. Now that you're older, it ain't worth it. But when you're under that age of 18, whip as many motherfuckers' asses as you can. Because that shit is hard when you get older.
It's true.
To fucking walk away.
Real consequences fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah. And being it's fucking hard. Like, you go home, fucking kick a cat. I do. And fuck that cat.
You got 3 of them.
Yeah. Let's switch to another one.
Yeah.
Favorite can, suppressor, silencer. I only have one. It's a Yankee Hills. It's not that I researched them to find a good one. I looked at the dude at the gun store. Hey, bro, what's a good one?
Yeah. I'm there with you, but even less. We used suppressors a fair bit in the SEAL teams. I'm gonna level with you. I don't remember what fucking brand they were. I want to say it was Springfield, but I don't know. And that's the only one I've used. I don't own one. I think they're cool. For me, the pain in the ass of acquiring them has deterred me from worrying about it.
Yeah.
Because it's something like I don't need them. Yeah, they're cool. It's nice to shoot without ear pro and they're fun to have, but I just don't give enough of a fuck about them in terms of like, it doesn't make me better at what I would need to use my guns for. Like, I'm not going to be on a rooftop trying to snipe people. So,
Yeah.
I just have no real use for them, especially with how hard or how big of a pain in the ass they are to get.
And chances are, if you're that good of a shot and you are sniping people, by the time they hear that shot of a muzzle brake,
Yeah.
they're dead.
I'm curious, what are some unnecessary firearm accessories for you? They're like other people have value, but you're just like, I just don't need them. Like, that's just not my.
For me, pistol grips, I don't use them.
Yeah.
Like on long guns, whether it's a shotgun or a rifle, I don't like them. I like the little Delta wedge, just a little bit of backstop, but I don't like pistol grips.
That's a good one.
Bump stock, same thing. I don't think either one of them should be illegal. It's not something I would use.
It's not for you. Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't. To me, like, there's no reason or I can't think of why I would want or need, not that it's even about need. I have no desire to shoot full auto for the sake of shooting full auto. I've done enough of it, but throughout every fucking instance in combat I've ever been in and all of training, the only time I ever shot full auto was on a belt fed area weapon, not on an AR platform M4. I had the ability to shoot full auto. I never did. To me, I'm not going to pull the trigger unless my sights are lined up on what I want to shoot, you know, and if you're shooting at a rate of speed where it's difficult or you're unable to do that, then to me, you shouldn't be shooting.
Yeah.
The only exceptions are belt-fed area weapons, is that if I'm trying to disable a vehicle or providing cover fire, for a group moving or things like that, then yes, shooting full auto with belt-fed at a rapid rate makes sense, and that's when I've done it and would do it. But for a personal M4, shotgun, rifle, whatever, like there's no reason for me to do that, and there's far more reasons not to do it.
Yeah.
It's a waste of ammo, and it's not very accurate.
It makes sense. Area suppression, right?
But if that's what you want to do, I don't think they should be illegal either.
Yeah, I agree.
Fucking more power to you. I don't give a fuck about them.
Most all the guys I've seen that are SF or in any way, when the common person thinks, I bet that motherfucker's rifle has this, and then I've seen a few, and then you handed me yours one day. I'm like,
it's pretty basic.
Yeah.
It's like Spartan. Yeah. It's all right. It does what I need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, it's a lot like fucking cars. The more shit you put on them,
the more you got to fuck with.
Well, the more you got to fuck with, and the more opportunity there is for things to break.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, like I like a good Trijicon reflex. I'm not a red dot fan. I don't like things that take batteries because they die.
Yeah.
Or they get wet and don't work or whatever. That's why I love the tritium night sights on pistols. I love the Trijicon reflex with the tritium reticle in it. Is that it's very simple. It works really well. Batteries aren't going to fucking die. You don't have to turn it on and off. It's just always on. And I have a backup pair of night sights on it with a good sling. That's all you need. Like I don't need any of the extra shit. I don't want any of the extra shit. I mean, it costs more. It weighs more. It's more shit to get in the way, and it's more shit to worry about, fuck with, and think about, and ultimately break. So, yeah, I mean, I keep my shit pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of shit you can put on weapons now to where it's like, that's stupid.
I was going to ask selfishly, what do you guys recommend? Anything for that wonderful Citadel Warthog you gave me?
That's basically made to set up and shoot a motherfucker if you need to.
Yeah.
I mean, take it to the range, put work, break it in, oil it.
Yep.
The only thing that for you I think would make sense is just putting a front night sight on it.
I was going to ask about some kind of night sight or tack light or something, because if I'm an idiot and I'm shooting at somebody coming into my home in the middle of the night, I should probably see who they are a second before I do it, just to make sure it's not my fucking dad visiting or something.
I mean, he should know better.
Yeah.
He fucking should. Yeah, definitely.
But you should have called first.
No, I mean, you can put a light on it. Lights are double-edged swords, though, right? Is that they're awesome because you can see who who's in front of you, but guess what? Now they know exactly where the fuck you're at
Yes.
also.
Now they know there's something there.
So if I have a gun and I see a light, I'm shooting the light.
Right.
Right. So that's number one. Number two is that just like with everything else, they take batteries die. There's times where they make sense. There's times where they're a detriment. Ultimately, are they necessary? No, they're nice to have. But for somebody with very little experience, it's one more thing to fucking dick with.
Yeah.
To me, even if you use, like they make it, I mean, it looks like nail polish that you just paint on and it's glow in the dark. It's not very good though. Like you have to kind of charge it almost with light.
Oh.
You can do that for the kind of low cost option, or getting an actual front night sight on a shotgun, just the front night sight, so that when it's pitch black, your gun's pitch black, you just woke up.
Yep.
You've got a tiny ass little fucking illuminated fucking green dot that is the end of your barrel that you can line up with whatever shadow you're shooting at is a good idea, I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I would put on it.
Yeah, something I've been thinking about lately. I'm like, do I have a light for this thing? And that's exactly it. I'm like, well, if I turn that on, they know I'm there. I can see them, but like, yeah.
One thing too that more so for rifles, but I could see, and again, it's a little double-edged sword with a lack of experience with using them though, is a sling, which most people are like, why the fuck would you want a sling? There's a lot of reasons you want a sling.
Yeah.
Especially for a long gun, but depending on what happens, let's say there's multiple people or you shoot somebody or whatever, like having the ability to sling the gun and now have both of your hands empty is important.
Yeah.
The downside with somebody with not as much experience with slings is that they can get in the way if you're not comfortable with using them and it's dark. Like it's something that takes experience, like to be able to use a sling in the dark and tighten it up and loosen it up and sling it around your back in the dark when you're half asleep. That's not easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight either. Like it does take a fair bit of experience of, you know, we did, I couldn't tell you how many fucking repetitions of, I've got a long gun in front of me. I sling it tight in the sling and I'm going hands on doing prisoner handling maneuvers and arm bars and shit with people. When you do that over and over and over, like you get to where you can use a sling fucking without even thinking about it.
It's a good one.
Your adrenaline's up. You've messed with it a couple of times. Like I can see it getting in the way and actually fucking your ability to shoot or sling up if you're not comfortable with it. So like the light, that's kind of a double-edged sword based on experience. But
yeah. Matt, can you sling? Do you have a sling?
I have slings.
You got stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my guns are pretty much set up to do all kinds of stupid shit. But something also to remember, and I'm sure Mike will agree with this, when you're throwing your gun around in sling, a lot of people that see a gun as just a gun don't realize it's a tool. Just like in your shop, if you have a tool, you're not, oh, fuck, it's scratched.
yeah.
Your gun, if you go to throw it back and you hit a wall and your normal fucking reaction is to, oh, fuck. That's in your head every time you do it. And when the guy's breaking in and you fling it back, and oh, fuck, and he's beating your ass.
Yeah.
It's a tool.
That's a good one.
Well, and with that too, you know, another thing that we would practice that a lot of people don't think of either is you can use the gun as a non-lethal striking weapon 100%. As well.
Yeah.
You know, especially a long gun. Like even with a pistol, like we would do pistol strikes all the fucking time, but somebody comes in, let's say it's a special needs, you know, adult that's lost, you know, and is in the wrong house or whatever. Like, am I going to shoot that guy if I recognize that? No, I probably wouldn't.
Yep.
You know, but I would walk up and I would knock him the fuck out.
Okay.
You know, with my gun, like I would just muzzle strike him and fucking put him down.
Yeah.
You know, because to me, like, you know, if you're in
which is a kindness, if
you've
invaded somebody's home,
better than shooting and killing somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most people like are going to get shot and killed. They come in my house, like, and even if it's something where it's so quick to where it turns out they were a special needs person that was just in the wrong house. Well, fucking sorry,
it's a wrong fucking house.
You know, but you know, in the event that circumstances are such that you identify that this person is legitimately not a threat and you don't want to take their fucking life. Again, I'm not saying that's necessarily me, but just for anybody out there, like, grabbing the gun and muzzle striking somebody is a very effective way of neutralizing them without killing them also.
Yeah.
You can kill them doing that, and I've seen that happen where, you know, you're amped up, you're an athletic guy, and somebody charges you and you muzzle strike them hard enough. I mean, especially on an M4 with a muzzle suppressor like that can punch through somebody's skull if they're hit hard enough with it. But
damn.
But it's still, you know, it's a more of a non-lethal option than pulling the trigger a few times.
Big time.
Yeah. So one of them I'm not going to go into. It's the COVID deal, which we kind of touched on during the episode, and the vaccine. To me, and I'm sure y'all agree, I don't give a fuck about the vaccine. If you take it, you take it. It's your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, all I'll say on that simply, I mean, people probably already know my thoughts, but, you know, if my immune system is 99.7% effective and the vaccine is less than that, I'm not taking it.
Yeah.
Also, if you were to replace COVID with Ebola, then I probably would. You know, if there was a vaccine that came out that would keep you from being killed by Ebola because it has such a much higher mortality rate, then I would consider taking it. But with this, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joseph Urvelo, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
You asked about GTRs and our thoughts on GTRs. We've covered GTRs
In a few episodes.
Yeah, a few episodes on our thoughts on what we think if they're supercars. Just go back, find that, because that's a rabbit hole question again.
Yeah.
Short answer, it's absolutely a respected platform. No
100%. Garrett Klein, he's also always on the live chats.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite one, and this is probably the one I think we should end on. Let's get Zach to do a Navy SEAL challenge, give people what they want to see. Get Mike in his old Bud's instructor uniform and have him do Hell Week with Zach.
Dude, I couldn't do Hell hour. I couldn't do Hell 10 minutes. There's no way.
No.
That's right. Well, that tells you all you need to know.
Is it bad that as soon as I read this question,
just start laughing?
I just started laughing, and I could picture you agreeing to do it, and then like the swimming pool aspect.
Yeah. I've actually done that a few times. There's a local high school. Their football team came out to my ranch facility 2 summers in a row, and I had a couple of buddies at the time. One of them was an employee of mine at the time who was also a SEAL. But we put them through. It was about 4 hours or so, 4.5 hours of Hell Week style stuff, and it was neat. Is that the coach reached out to me. Did not tell them what they were getting into. So this was in the summer.
Yeah.
They're just kind of starting their football camp. And you know, they show up one morning and he's like, "Get on the bus." And they're like, "What?" They're like, "Yep, get on the bus." And fucking they drove an hour and change out to my ranch facility. They get off and then me and another SEAL are standing there with bullhorns fucking yelling at them. You know, and they were just like, "What the fuck?" And it was awesome. Like they learned a lot. The coaches learned a lot. I mean, there was a coach there. In fact, there was a I can't remember his first name. His last name's Corey Proctor. He was a lineman for the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, I know Corey. He's a good dude.
I was gonna say that sounded familiar.
Yeah.
So he was out there for the first year, and he was like, "God damn, I wish we had something like this." You know, and some of the coaches even said, "You know, I've coached here for the last 12 years and I've learned more about coaching and more importantly, like more about teamwork and what these kids are about or not about in 2 hours of this than, you know, the entire time I've been working with these kids, you know, and because it tells you a lot about who they are as an individual.
Yeah.
And also who they are as a team, you know, and it kind of cuts through all of the bullshit. It doesn't accommodate for talent. It only takes into account attitude, you know.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot about shit that way. But I've also had, you know, over the years, I've just had, you know, kids that are in the area that, you know, reach out and they're like, "Hey, I want to be a SEAL. You know, can you put me through like a workout or whatever?" And so I've done that a few times too, where you know, at the end of it, I'll give them a little bit of the SEAL instructor torture mechanisms of I'll have them lay on their back doing flutter kicks or whatever, and I'll stand there with a hose, you know, spraying them down and talking shit to them and whatever, you know, little things like that. But Zach, you're next.
I'll tell you what it is. The reason I can tell you right now firmly I couldn't do it, even if I had the physical strength to keep up, I don't have the mental game. That's almost the whole game. I mean, obviously the physical is a big part of it, but I think last mic drop you were talking, maybe it was last Uninfluenced, we were talking about it with somebody, and you were like, there are people out there, especially like pro athletes, who just don't have the attitude, who will be like, "Fuck this. Yep. Nope. I'm a celebrity. I don't give a shit."
It was the last mic drop because the guy Eli was part of a company that worked with
that's it.
You know, pro football teams and stuff, and I was like, you know, with a lot of those guys, you know, they've been coddled their whole careers, but they're also, you know, when you take a guy that's making, $1.2 million a game.
Yep.
And now here's some fucking dude standing in front of him saying you're going to do all this shit that isn't in your contract that your agent didn't agree to you doing. Like, you're going to be like, fuck you, I'm not doing that.
Yep.
That's an impossible guy to motivate, because he doesn't have to do it, you know? So, but yeah, so I mean, that is a part of it, is that the mentality, and I can tell you from having been a student and 3.5 years as an instructor, is that, it is 95%, I'd say 98% mental.
Yeah.
Because there's kids that show up that are Division I, All-American, world-class professional athlete caliber genetic specimens, just phenomenal fucking athletes, that mentally have never had to push themselves. Everything has come so fucking easy to them. Every coach they've ever had, starting at 5 years old, coddled them and saw something in them and wanted them to succeed. But like I was talking about earlier with dogs, a selfish love thing, like doing what they think is good for them, but ultimately just enabling them to be little assholes. There's a lot of that same stuff. So on the transverse, like you'd see this country bumpkin that's built like a thumb, can barely fucking swim, but has every fucking thing he's ever done in his life has been hard for him.
It'd work for him,
and he's had to bust his fucking ass to just make it, let alone be above and beyond.
Yeah.
And so you would see, really, really good athletes that, 10 minutes in fucking cracked and quit. And other guys that, physically were nothing special, but mentally were absolute fucking monsters.
Yep.
That you were just not going to get in their head. You could not fucking shake their own self-confidence, and that's most of it, but that's life. I mean, that's most of being successful at life, is having that mentality of, you're gonna have to fucking kill me. I'm gonna do what I set out to do, and come hell or high water. So you need to work on that, Zach.
Yeah. No, Mike would crack me like an egg, man.
Well, the way I approach everything, and even when, say, we picked up my Indian Challenger, and it was fucking cold.
Yeah.
The way I looked at it, at the halfway point of riding home, and I do a lot of things that challenge me. If I'm 30 minutes in and it's an hour, don't be a bitch at 30 minutes. You just made 30 minutes. If you could do that 30 minutes, you could do the next 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Right.
The worst case scenario, your body starts shutting down, and your brain knows to protect that. But your body will outwork your brain at sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Not always. Sometimes.
Well, I mean, your body can go as far as your mind is willing to push it.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing that you realize in that training environment, is that there's no amount of being in good enough shape that you can, or there's not a level of that you can attain that's good enough to get you through training.
Yeah.
There isn't. Like, the human body is not capable of physically doing what Buds is day to day by itself. Like, you can't get in that good a shape. So what you have to rely on is your mind. Now granted, the better shape you're in, the less you have to use your mind to push it. So yes, of course, it's only going to lend itself to helping with you be successful in training or with anything, is that if you put the time in and you're better at it, the less you have to struggle, the less you have to fucking struggle, but at the end of the day, ultimately in that, and in most things in life, there's going to come a point at which you've got to use your mind to push on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do that every day with business.
Yeah.
And it's a mental,
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been parts of business that have been every bit as tough as anything I've done in the SEAL teams in terms of the amount of stress and pressure. Same with being a parent, there's been things about being a parent that have been every bit as hard, and sometimes harder because it's so much more personal. But
I've texted him a few times, dude, I'm spread too thin right now.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you need? I just needed to tell somebody I'm spread too thin. I'm going to go back to doing it. I'll holler at you.
So like
kick
a
one of these
good
cats.
friend, I said, tough shit, deal with it.
Yeah. Get over it, bitch. Then
Stop
he won't
fucking
text
lying.
me back.
That's right.
Yeah.
New phone. Who dis?
Yeah. Who dis? So guys, that's it for today. Check us out on Patreon. We're going to do Patreon days. We're up to 18 or 20 Patreons now. So it's going up, and we're going to do something cool. I should probably start planning that, but we got other shit going right now. You'll probably learn more about that in a month.
Yeah.
Check us out on Pandora,
iTunes,
everywhere.
Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia, Pandora. We're all over the place.
Penthouse letters.
TuneIn, Podbean. We're all over the fucking
It's
place.
literally everywhere. And if you're not following, make sure you go check out Mic Drop. He's at 101,000 subscribers right now.
Shit.
I was fucking getting mad at it because I was updating and I was like, this motherfucker ain't hit 1,000, 100,000, 100 people yet. What the fuck?
It took a minute.
No,
yeah.
what went to the
Well,
on the one I
counts by
watched.
1,000.
Now it goes to 1,000.
Yeah.
So
That's
you don't
bullshit.
get to see the clips.
So we don't get to see those.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's the same as like Instagram. Once you hit 100, they only go up by thousands
Yeah.
instead of hundreds.
But that next 1,000 was pretty quick.
Yeah.
It was pretty. You guys are killing it over there, so make sure to check them out. If you're just watching this show and you want to hear stories about the military and things like that, and some of the shit these guys got into after, go check out Mic Drop. We use the same shitty producer.
Same shitty equipment.
That's right.
About to be the same shitty everything.
Same shitty hosts. Yeah.
Yeah. So check us out. Bye, bitches.